Hey folks, this is Sam here with Ucanic. Today we're going to replace the spark plugs in the ignition coils on this 2016 Jeep Renegade. We're going to need a few tools to get us started. First we're going to need a 10mm socket. Next we're going to need a 5/8 plug wrench type socket. And you're going to really want to have a good rubber insert or magnetic insert to retrieve those spark plugs because they are pretty deep down inside the head. Some other things that could come in handy for us are we have a little bit of dielectric grease. And we also have a small flat tip screwdriver. So let's get started. All right, folks, here we are on the mechanic's eye view. Now, it can get a little messy, so I'm going to wear some gloves under here. First thing we want to do is remove this engine top cover. Now, where my right hand is and where my left hand is are just some small tabs that hold this down. If you just gently pull up, you'll feel them. Well, this one's a little more than gently over here. You'll feel them pop up just like that. All right, and we can set this to the side. Great place for our magnet tray is right there where we're working, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by removing these ignition coils. Now on these ignition coils, and one of them looks like they were left loose here, you have a little safety, which is this red slide, and if you just get your finger on it or a little flat tip screwdriver, it doesn't take much force, you just slide all those back and now you should be able to remove them. How you remove these is you want to squeeze down on that red tab. It should release the plug and you just slide it back and maybe pull it out of the way just for good measure. So we're going to go ahead and remove all 4 of those. Ooh, that one's being a little sticky, isn't it? There we go. We got him out of there, no problem. All right, we're going to take that 10mm with a little bit of extension on it. We're going to go ahead and zap that thing in there. Let go. There we go. All right, now to get these ignition coils out, simple thing to do, kind of get you started. Give them a little twist and wiggle back and forth, and just gently pull as you're twisting and wiggling. You want to make sure the stem comes out with it as well. Looks like we broke a little piece of plastic coming up there. Some of this plastic can get brittle over time, not to worry. We're going to keep on going. Just looks like it was a retainer for our harness. So now inside of these holes is going to be our spark plug. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. We've got our plug wrench set up on the end of our long extension. You do want a very long extension for this one. As you'll see, it's going to go quite a ways down in that hole there. You want to have plenty of room to remove it. Now if you come across any crazy resistance, it might be okay to stop and reevaluate. And I like to run these until I can turn them by hand and then move on to the next one. All right, take my ratchet off. We'll go ahead and spin these the rest of the way out. Well, looks like we're going to get to demonstrate how to extract a spark plug that won't stay in the plug wrench. Ooh. So now we've got all of our spark plugs out. We want to go ahead and begin installing the new spark plugs. How you want to do this, you want to get your new spark plug. Make sure the protective cover for the threads is taken off. A lot of times you'll find these in the box with them. Just take that off of there. Go to your plug wrench and install your spark plug into the plug wrench. Make sure it's good and secure so when you go into the hole you don't drop it, ding it up, or get it cross-threaded or anything. So we'll go ahead and start with cylinder number 1 here. Now, to avoid cross-threading, you notice you'll see me spinning this backwards. I'm just trying to find where those threads start appropriately because I don't want to cause any damage to the threads, especially on the cylinder head, as that can lead to a very expensive repair. Also, while I like to get these things going by hand and not with any sort of large ratchet or power tool, you want to be able to feel those threads as you go in. I like to run these down till I feel them start to snug up. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next plug. We'll get it secure in our plug wrench here. And we'll gently run that down in. Again, we're going to spin it backwards a little bit till we feel those threads. And then we'll run it in by hand. If you're having trouble running these in by hand, a lot of times I'll see guys really trying to force it around and they'll have it canted a bit. You'll notice I just kind of have this resting on my fingertips. And that's what allows me to spin this so freely, is it allows it to center itself up. Little imperfections in your tool or the rubber insert in your socket may cause it to be just a tiny bit canted. And wow, that one's really stuck to the plug. It actually kept my plug wrench down in there. There's a simple solution here. We're just gonna unthread our spark plug so we can bring the whole thing up out of the hole, and then I'll show you how I take care of this. We're just going to pull the whole thing out. What we're running into is our spark plug is just a little too snug inside of that rubber bushing inside of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply just a little bit of lubrication. Any dielectric grease will do, or silicone grease. Something just to keep that spark plug from sticking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply just a little bit that I have on my finger, not much at all, to the shoulder of that porcelain there. And we'll go ahead and run our spark plug in and out of the tool a little bit until it releases like it should. The rubber should still retain it, but hopefully we don't run into that pesky issue of the car deciding to keep my tool. That would be unfortunate. I would like to come in here and show you guys a video of this going absolutely flawlessly, but it's kind of fortunate you get to see some of the real things that happen when you get under a hood of a vehicle. And that is a condition I've experienced before. Not a big deal. We just needed to back up and reevaluate. Yep, it's going to keep it. We're going to back it up, apply a little bit more lubrication. After pulling my plug in and out a few times, it would appear this thing has actually got some burrs around the hex pattern here. So I'm just applying a tiny bit of grease to that hex there. So this thing will release for me when I go to pull it out. Okay. This time, before I run the threads all the way, I want to make sure my tool comes back out. Look at that. It's coming back out. That's a good sign, folks. Again, sorry for the delay, folks, but it's cool you got to see a real life uh-oh happen and how we deal with it. All right. I know everybody's been waiting for it, that third plug. I should have enough lubrication on my tool. This one shouldn't give me too much fuss here. Again, you don't see me applying a lot of force to this, just kind of letting it rest on my fingers and go down those threads the way it's happy. There we go. And final plug. In we go. Okay, there we go. So, now, the best thing to do is always going to be to use some type of torque wrench set to the appropriate torque, in this case about 20 foot-pounds of torque. You want to stabilize with one hand and then apply your torque the other. It gives you that little click. That's enough. That's it. And we'll move straight down the line. Now, for those of you who don't have a torque wrench at home, I'm not going to tell you that this is the best method on planet Earth for applying the appropriate amount of torque. It most certainly isn't. Nothing can top using a torque wrench. But I understand the real world is the real world. So we're going to have a little lesson in how we measure torque. So 1 foot-pound is roughly 1 pound applied 1 foot away from the center of rotation, which would be approximately the top of the handle here, or the center of where my hand is. So if we're looking for 20 foot-pounds, well, you would have to approximate, but you would want to apply with this hand here 1 foot away from the center of rotation about 20 pounds of force. All right. So you are going to have to use your imagination a little bit and picture what lifting 20 pounds sideways would be. Again, 1 foot away from the center of rotation here. All right, now that we've got that done, and we're going to go in with our ignition coils. So to get these in properly, you want to make sure that the plug is pointed in the direction of the wire and that the bolt hole is lined up with the threaded hole corresponding on the head. So we get those in, make sure your plug is held up and out of the way. That same little wiggle we had coming out, give them that same little wiggle going in. Give them a good firm press. And go ahead and get your retaining screw started. Again, we'll slide it in, hold our plug out of the way, line up the hole with the corresponding threaded hole in the head, good firm push. Okay, here we go. And we're going to go ahead and run those in. And they will do their job just fine. So, last but not least, we want to come in and we want to install our plugs, or these coils are not going to do their job. And man, this harness is really got out of place. There we go. So when we plug it in, make sure it clicks in, and then come in and push that little red safety tab back in. Same thing. We're going to get our plug started, make sure it clicks, and then push our red safety tab in. And we'll work our way down the line. All right, so that looks pretty good. We'll put our top cover back on. Okay. Now, these top covers, if you look at them from underneath, it's actually this little rubber grommet right here that holds it on. This one of these over here is missing. It does have the one on the back side though. Those are going to correspond to these little domes you see poking up here. So the simplest way I've found is to flip it over and actually put my finger in those, and then as I'm coming down, find those little domes with my finger, and now I know I'm lined up, and I can just press down, and it's all lined up. So now that we've completed replacing the spark plugs and coils, let's go over to the workbench and take a look at those spark plugs. All right, folks, we're over here at the workbench. We're looking at these spark plugs that we just took out of our 2016 Jeep Renegade. We have cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, and cylinder 4 here. I like to retain these spark plugs in the order that they came out of the engine because a spark plug can tell you a lot about what's going on inside the engine. Now, I won't spend all the time in the world today talking about those specific conditions. Any Google search online for a spark plug chart or issues with spark plug will bring up one of many different diagrams that show pictures of the variety of spark plug conditions you can have. The most important thing you want to annotate is if you have anything crazy out of line. So this is our cylinder 1. We've got a little bit of carbon around the outside edge and turning into a lighter color and some deposits building up on the electrode there. On cylinder 2, it looks to be largely the same, carbon deposits and a little bit of lighter deposits on the electrode. Cylinder 3, looking largely the same, carbon deposits, a little bit of lighter deposits building up on the electrode. But cylinder 4, we've got something going on. We want to check that out. So we have some severe degradation. We do have that same carbon, but our lighter deposits are pretty massive, and even a little bit of deformation there at the top. So we're going to want to look into that in a future video. Thanks for joining me, folks.